Hello, I am in a car, as you can probably tell. Why am I in a car? Because this video is all about cars and camping, but you know that because you clicked on it. So, for the last couple of weeks, maybe 2 weeks, I've been sort of doing a little road trip around some of the US states, and I have been cutting down costs by camping and sleeping in my car. And at first I thought that was going to be pretty tough. I thought it was going to be uncomfortable, and I thought that I'd probably feel a little bit unsafe and that it just wasn't going to be a good time, but I was like, I gotta save some money, so I'm gonna do it. And then actually, like, it's been like pretty easy and straightforward to do. I found ways to make it really comfortable, and I kind of just wanted to like share them on here because when I was looking to do it myself, I was like, oh, I need some information. So here's everything that I have learned. Number one is like getting a car. I am an idiot and I didn't bring my credit card with me. It's back at home, and then I had another one and then I lost it. So when I tried to go rent a car from like Hertz or whatever, they would not let me take it. But then luckily someone had told me about an app and a website called Turo, which is I guess kind of like Airbnb for cars. People just like rent out their cars that you can rent for like however long. And the price really varies. Like some are like $20 a day, some are like $100 a day depending on the car and whatever. So I've just been using Turo, which has been really, really good. This is not sponsored. Give me money, Turo, because I will talk about how amazing you are. But the annoying thing is that you have to bring it back to where you started. So that's kind of limited me. I haven't been able to go from like place to place to place. I kind of have to do like a state and then, you know, get a bus or whatever. But like, that's fine. What else? So camping, I was like, can I just like pull off to the side of the road and like sleep in my car? If you're in a city, you might get like told off by the cops depending on what state you're in. But what I've been doing is I've been finding free campsites using this app called Campendium. There's also a website called iOverlander. Basically, you just type in their like area that you're going to be in, and it'll tell you all the different like free spots that you can go to, as well as the paid campgrounds. And they're good because they've got heaps of reviews and they give you the coordinates, so it's easy to get to. I've been using that like every single night. I paid for a campsite once. That's because I just wanted to have a shower. But every other place that's just been like a pull off has been really, really good. And rather than ones that are just off the highway, I prefer to sort of go into like a area where you can camp for free. I think they're called BLM areas. It's a big thing in the US, but I've never heard of it. But there are a lot of areas where you can just camp for free. And they usually have space for you to put your car, and then next to it you can pitch a tent, although I've just been sleeping in my car. So that sounds really uncomfortable, right? Well, the first car that I had was like pretty big. It was a big like SUV, like American kind of car. So I bought an air mattress from Walmart for $15 and pumped it up and put it in the back, and it was like the perfect size once I put the seats down. And then I also got a sleeping bag from Walmart as well for $8. And then in this car that I'm in right now, it's a little bit smaller, so I couldn't put an air mattress. I went to Target and I bought, you know those foam mattress toppers? And I put that like on the back seat, and that made it so comfortable. It was so good. So normally I'll go a couple days staying at free campsites, and then when I'm like, oh, I really need a shower, I'll go to a aquatic center or a recreation center or whatever they're called, and you know, pay to use the facilities there and just shower there. Usually it's like $5. Or you can find campgrounds in state parks or national parks that cost $5 or $10 for the evening and that you can park there. And they're usually good because then they've got drinking water and there's other people around, so you maybe feel a little bit safer, but it's kind of up to you, whatever you want to do. I found just staying in free campsites was completely fine. The only issue was there's no running water and there's no showers. So you just got to be really comfortable with peeing in the bushes. What else can I suggest? Save your cups. I bought an iced coffee a couple days ago and I saved the cup, and now I can reuse this for my cereal in the morning. I can reuse this for brushing my teeth, etc, etc, etc. It's a hack. Some people go out and buy like a full camp stove and they have like ways to cook, but I am not about that life. I've just been snacking, honestly. So 2 meals a day will be like snack kind of food, and then I'll buy food along the way somewhere. I'll go to a diner, or I'll go to a restaurant, or I'll go to Subway because Subway is the fucking best. I bought like protein powder, which I mix with water. I keep the water outside overnight so it gets cold, and then in the morning I can make like a cold protein shake, and then I use that for milk for cereal in my trusty reusable cup. I like paid for 1 jug of water at the beginning of my trip, and then I can just refill this at national parks. I can refill it at gas stations when I buy stuff there. There's free water everywhere, guys. Stop buying bottles. Starbucks is my #1 best friend on this trip because they have free Wi-Fi, they have outlets, and they have coffee. Yes, the coffee's not that great, and yes, it is a little bit expensive, but most days I've just been going there for an hour or two and just charging all my shit, using the internet, and that's been really, really helpful, especially because they are in a lot of places. If you like hiking and if you like nature, definitely go to all the national parks and state parks and forests and everything along the way. There's a really good app called All Trails, which some random guy I met in Boulder on a hike told me about. Basically, it just like notices where you are and it will tell you all the good hikes around you. That's a really good way of doing it. What else? Wet wipes. Oh my god, always have wet wipes on you because you never know what you're going to use it for. I've used wet wipes for so many different things, mainly for my fake showers every single morning, but also just like cleaning stuff up, and yeah, wet wipes are the best. Download offline maps because you never know where you're gonna be and need a map but don't have service. Yes, everyone's like, buy a paper map. Nah, fuck that. You've got a map on your phone, just download it when you've got Wi-Fi, and then, you know, you'll be fine even when you've got no service. Bring books and download Netflix shows. You're not babies, I don't need to tell you that, but like, yeah, things can get boring, especially when the sun sets at 7 p.m. and you're like, well, what do I do now? Also, I have been alone for like a little bit of my trip, but for most of the time I've actually been with other people who I met on the internet. I would suggest, if you don't want to be by yourself, or if you've got someone already to go with you, just like skip this, whatever. But if you are looking for a road trip buddy, which is good because it like makes things a lot cheaper and it makes it a lot less boring. I used Facebook groups. I basically just typed in like USA road trip, and there's usually people in there being like, hey, I'm doing this trip, does anyone want to join? Or you can post yourself being like, hey, I'm thinking of doing this, does anyone want to join? There's probably even like subgroups for different states if you've got like a particular state in mind. You can definitely find people online. Obviously, like, chat to them first, maybe FaceTime them, make sure they're not weird, or like make sure that you get along. There was one girl I was meant to go with, and then after talking to her for a while I was like, you know what, I don't think so. So we didn't even end up going, but it can't hurt to look. And also you can use the website Couchsurfing, which I love. I found like a bunch of people through there who I'm now road tripping with. Yeah, there's endless options out there. Also, like, if you get a day into the trip and you're like, I hate you, you can just end the trip. Like, you're not being beholden to anybody, you know? Yeah, honestly, I think that's everything. Hey, this road trip that I've done has been absolutely amazing. America is pretty great. It's a very good place to road trip because there's a lot of stuff. In Australia, you'll go like 10 hours and you'll find nothing, but here there's lots of little towns. There's always like gas stations and food, and there's so many different national parks to check out. There's so many different hikes, there's so many places to camp, there's heaps of different stuff to do. So do it, basically. And here's all my tips for saving money as you do it. If you like this video, please give it a little thumbs up. I feel weird asking that, but it just really does help me. And you can always subscribe as well if you want to. Thank you for watching. All right, bye.